And here we see SN11EDC on the 23 to Trinity. While SN62ASZ is on its way to the airport. SF17VML there. S-71HKB on the 25. S-19OWZ on the 16. Yeah, there's going to be a few of these videos I think coming up where I'm actually seeing buses in Edinburgh or something like that. S-71HLE, followed by S-19OWX, S-21MYZ, followed by S-18NFF. That concludes that little manic stretch there. Well, no, it doesn't actually, because SF17VNR is just on its way to Seaton Sands on the 26th. And you will see SB19GMY on the 100 to the airport. Right, I've made a decision. Any video that I take today that's got more than one vehicle on it, I'll add that to a collection and we'll call it Buses in Edinburgh, and I'll put today's date beside it as well. I'll sort all that on the way home. As we see S-71HKG on the 25 and H12HHT Harry Haggis Tours Volvo Levante. That'll be on the 909, I would imagine, or could be M92. I would imagine that'll be 909 if it's coming this way, because M92 doesn't come along Princess Street. S-66 LPK on the X18 there. I won't be standing in this bit for too long. We'll go down onto Princess Street itself and get a few up close. And on the X18 to Whitburn is LXZ5419. And just behind it is SJ16CSO on the City Sightseeing Tour of Edinburgh. And on the 26th to Clarewood is SJ71HKN. Fleet number 675. For those of you who do fleet numbers. And just behind that one we have SB19GMV. Followed by SN11EBG. We also have LXZ5428 and SJ67MHA. And over there is LJ09CBF on the City Tour. Now we have one of the electric ones, one of the new ones as well, on the 10 to Collington, SF25YHX. We'll do that tour at some point this year, hopefully. Next up is SJ18NFX on the 113 to the West End. Followed by LJ09CBX on the Open Top Tour. We had LXZ5399 there, just missed it. And over there is SN62EXW on the Airport Express, a route that you can find on the channel. And on the 30 to Clovenstone is SJ70HNF. That's the other police. Well, it's actually a paramedic gone past. Not something you like to see, but they do a good job, these people. And just following the tram is SJ21NCC. That's N for Norris on the 19 to Granton. And on the 34 to Harriet Watt is SA15VUC. And a route coming soon to the channel on the X19 to Winchborough via Kirkliston is SJ67 MFK. And here we see SN11 EDC on the 23 to Trinity. Oh, hi there everyone, good afternoon, it's Gallivant here, we're in Edinburgh. As you can see, I'm going to be doing a little bit of spotting here today. It is pretty damn busy, if I'm being honest. So we're going to go over there where the fish and chip sign is. That sounds too good to be true sometimes, doesn't it? But we'll go and stand under the archways of the National Gallery just across the road and we'll see what we can see. And I think we'll start with this one. SN62 AYA on the Airport Express, operated by Bright Bus Tours, also known as McGill's. Next up, one we saw yesterday, I think, YX19 OTM on the X38 to Falkirk. S-Tri-16 CSZ there on the City Sightseeing Tour. S-Tri-21 MYV on the number 3 to Clovenstone. Just sneaking through there on the 31 to Polton Mill is SN S-Tri-19 OYY. SN62 ASZ on the City Centre Airport Bright Bus Express, as they call it. S-Tri-70HNY sitting there at the traffic lights, the Volvo Evora on the 30 to Clovenstone. I can see why a lot of operators are buying these Evoras. They're really nice. Very nice to travel on. S-Tri-16 CSU on the CS1 there, City Sightseeing Tour, as we get photobombed by the Evora. S-Tri-19 OYM on the 16 to Silver Knolls. SF74YNM on the 900. And 628 on the 44 to Balerno. It's quite hard to keep up here sometimes, even on a Sunday. So a little change is happening this week. Tomorrow we're not going to Glasgow for the X10. That's been moved to Tuesday. Tomorrow we're going up to Arbroath with Aaron. We're going to be doing some train spotting at Carnewstay, Montefieth and Barry. I don't think we're doing any at Broughty Ferry. At least I don't think that's the plan. It's just that I've got something I need to do on Tuesday night at home, so we decided to switch it around. It would make it a little bit easier. That's SN11EEA on the 27 to Hunters Trust. And here we have T600 URR, Neoplan Tourliner. I'm not sure who that belongs to. It's certainly a nice coach anyway, that's for sure. And here we see 927 SN09 CVM on the 27 to Silver Knolls. I think that's got to be one of the oldest Gemini still in service with Lothian in the city. And S-Tri-16 CTO on the City Sightseeing Tour of Edinburgh. S-Tri-19 OVZ on the 11 to Hivetts Bank. As we see S-Tri-71 HKG on the 25. And H12 HHT Harry Haggis Tours, Volvo Levante. That'll be on the 909, I would imagine. Or could be M92. I would imagine that'll be 909 if it's coming this way, because M92 doesn't come along Princess Street. And here we see SA15VUS on the 34th Ocean Terminal and SJ19OMB on the 16 to Silver Knolls. Next up on the Edinburgh tour is SJ16CTY, followed by SB19GLZ on the 100 to the airport. That's another route you can find on the channel. And following that one on the 44 to Blerno is SJ21MYU. You get little moments like this in the city. I'll tell you that in just a moment. As we see SJ19OYX going past with BN64CSO on the 19th Eastfield and SJ66LPX on the X27. Now, as I was saying, you get little moments like that here in places like Edinburgh, Glasgow and all that. If you're bus spotting, you'll see several vehicles at once, and then you'll get little pockets where there's not much going on. And that happens maybe for a few minutes, and then boom, you get another 4, 5, 6 vehicles appearing. It's part of being a bus spotter. But anyway, next up on the 26 to Clarewood, we have SF17VND. That's another route that we'll be doing at some point this year. Hopefully, I'm hoping to do all Lothian routes at some point this year. As we see SF74YLZ on the 9 to the King's Buildings. And SB19GME on the 100 to the city centre. Another route you can find on the channel. And as 469 pulls away, we have SN11ECX on the 31 to East Craigs, and on the same route as SJ19OYP. On the E1 to Aberdeen is SG24UJS. On the 900 to Glasgow, KSK948. And behind the taxi, we have SJ16CSX on the City Sightseeing Tour 225. I think I'll cross the street in a few minutes, get a few more on the other side. Might stand over there where Blank Street Coffee is, or maybe outside Fraser Hart, but I think outside Blank Street Coffee might be a little bit quieter. As we see SJ21NDN on the 090 from Glasgow. And Rathel Coaches with HY23WZG on a private hire, I'm assuming. Yeah, I'll just call this video Buses in Edinburgh for today's date. Save a lot of hassle. That's SJ71HJD on the 3 to Clovenstone. I'm having to watch two separate ways because the buses are coming along Princess Street, obviously, and down that way as well, and also from behind, but we'll see more of them heading eastbound on Princess Street when across the road, which will be probably in a few minutes. In real time, that is, but maybe in a few milliseconds on video time. And behind that one on the City Tour is OTS 271, City Tour operated by Brightbus, who also have the Airport Express. McGill's do have a couple of routes around Edinburgh, but I don't think they run on Sundays. I could be wrong, but I don't think they operate on Sundays. I think the Airport Express and the City Tour are the only two that do. And then we have 669, which is SJ71 HKF on the 25 to Restalrig, if that's how you say it. And on 30 to Clovenstone is SJ70 HNZ. And on the 27 to Hunters Trust is SN11EDR. And on the 27 to Silver Knolls is SN11EBO. Now we've got a Volvo 7900 coming down. Those types of buses weren't really very successful. As far as I'm aware, only Lothian have bought them. There are some Volvo BZLs down with Stagecoach down in Ayrshire, If you're regular viewers to the channel, will know how impressed I am with those vehicles. As we see, SJ67 MFN on the X19 to Edinburgh, and a taxi which looks like its wheel might be ready to come off, or hubcap's ready to come off by the sounds of it. Not that I should be putting that on YouTube, but it's part of the video. SJ16ZZ on the Edinburgh tour, as we see the Volvo 7900 BT64 LHW on the one to Clermiston. Right, I've made my mind up. I think I'll just stay on this side of the road for now because it's less busy over here. As we see SB19 GLK on the 16 to Torfin. As we see Lothian's beautiful Volvo SB19 GKZ. Beautiful Volvo, these things. And SB19 GMX coming down there. That, of course, is the Volvo Panther, which is just gone up there, the Lothian motor coach. Couldn't think what the model was called there for a second. Something that sprung into my head was Elite, and I thought, that is not an Elite. It is not. As we see SJ67 MFZ on the 43 to Queensferry. South Queensferry, that is. Now, as I see the tram coming down, this is something that Aaron and I spoke about. We're going to do a video on the tram from the airport to New Haven and back. Not entirely sure when we're going to do that. But it'll be my first time actually taking the tram full route. And on the 25 to Heriot Watt is SJ71 HJO. Excuse me. And on its way to the airport is SN62AYJ. Now, is that a helicopter I hear? Well, wherever it is, I can't see it. It's getting further away, so it must be flying another direction. As we see SJ21 MBL on the 26 to Clarewood. Followed by SB19 GNK on the 100 to the airport. And on the other side is number 67 and 481. If you like your fleet numbers. I can hear that helicopter again. As we see SN62AXW on the one on the Airport Express. And round here you have LJ09CBX on the City Tour 8933. City Tour operated by Brightbus. Apologies if the microphone does pick up any bad language, but we are out in public, of course, and there's not much I can do about that. Not much at all, unfortunately. And on City Sightseeing Tour, we have SJ16 CTK. And on the other side, it looks like they're having a race between a tram. Well, I was going to say it looks like they're having a race between a tram and SJ18 NFX on the 113 to Pencaitland. SJ71 HLK letting it out on the 37 to Pennycook. I don't know what's going on with that helicopter, but I can hear it again, but I just can't see it. That's the view I've got. Can't see it at all. Right, back to buses. I'm not going to mention any helicopters again. And on the 31 to East Craigs, we have 1087. The number plate is blocked because that guy on the bike is kind of blocking my view of it. So I'll read it out to you once he moves away. And round there on Trafalgar with the Mercedes Turismo BF23CV CJV. Forgive me if I get that number plate wrong. But yeah, as I was saying, tomorrow we're going up to Montefieth, Barry, and Arbroath with Arden, and we're also maybe going to do a little bit of bus spotting in Dundee and in Arbroath as well. That's STRI19OXC on the 31, and behind that on the 4 to Hill End is LXZ5405, and on the 10 to Collington is SF74YMJ. SF74YMJ. And just going past on the other side is STRI71HJX on the 44 to Walliford. Arden, I'll remember all that. LXZ5412 on the 4 to Queen Margaret. I'll tell you all about that in just a second. STRI70HMV on the 30 to Queen Margaret. STRI19OXE on the 16 to Sylvan Knowles. SN11EOK on the 29 to Gorbridge. Y50ABC there, STRI19OMC on this side, and on the other side, SA15VW. Yeah, as I was saying, Arden will remember all about the 44 because on the day that we did the actual route itself, I did it live on the return journey because I ran out of memory on my phone. And he fell asleep. And I remember him telling me, and I'm sure he won't mind me telling you this, that it's the only time that he's fallen asleep on a bus in a long time. I'm more likely to fall asleep on a bus than he is, as we see STRI16CSZ on the CS1, City Sightseeing Open Top Tour, BV69LPJ, Mercedes Turismo, not sure who the operator is. If you know, feel free to leave a comment below. Yeah. And on the X38 to Falkirk, YX19OTA, they tend to have then virals out on a Sunday on that route, and most other days you don't really see an Eclipse, a right Eclipse Urban out on that route during the week, during the Sunday, should I say, sorry. And on the X18 to Edinburgh, LXZ5434, followed by Prentice Westwood with RPP734. I've got another tram coming down now. What have we got on that side? Not much going on there at the moment. Once the lights change though, that will be different. And on the 113 to West End is STRI18 NFR. And on the other side we have STRI18 NFT. Colette coaches with 2748 PK, STRI21 MBF, just sneaking in there on the 3 to Mayfield. And on the 100 to the airport, I'll get to that in just a moment. On the 23 to Greenbank is SN11EEP. And as I said, on the 100 to the airport there is SB19GMY. We'll see that in just a second because it looks like it's letting another bus out. And it's SA15VTE on the 34 to Heriot Watt. It just goes to show what I said earlier on is true. You wait here, if you're a bus spotter, you wait here to see a vehicle and loads of them turn up at the same time. On the 23 to Trinity, SN11EER, SB19GMY there, BN64CPY on the 19 to Granton. Down there you've got STRI70HNT on the 30 to Clovenstone. And here we see Globus Erasor I6 with YN22YNU. Scania Erasor I6, I should say. SJ19OXU on the 16 to Torfin. YX190TN on the X38. We've got an X18 coming down. I've noticed Bay Travel coming down the other street there, but we'll see that in a second. SJ66 LPK on the X18 to Whitburn, Bloxburn and Bathgate. That's Bay Travel just coming down there away in the distance, but we'll see that in just probably see that on the next turning of the lights. In fact, I think we're going to see it now actually. Yep, it's L999BAY with a VDL. It's on a private hire, I think. Now, as I said, that's SJ66 LPK on the X18, SJ70HNT on the 30 to Clovenstone, City Tour there with EUE489, City Sightseeing Tour SJ16CTF with SJ21MZG on the other side, being followed by SF17VML on the X7 to Dunbar. That's SJ21MZF on the 44 to Balerno that you can see there. Now, what we've got coming down there? I don't see a bus. SJ19OMY on the 31 to Polton Mill. LXZ5429 on the X28 to Edinburgh. BV70UAL Emmons Travel, two of them actually. BF73CFD, the other one I've never heard of Emmons Travel before. Can't say I've ever heard of them. If you have, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Another open top tour bus coming down now on the City Tour. And that one is OTS 271 2905. And I think we've got another one going the other way. Yes, we have, but it's the City Sightseeing Edinburgh SJ16 CSO, fleet number 222. SF17VOH here on the 26 to Cloudwood, SJ66 LPX with SN11 ECT on the 37. Now, just pulling away on the 44, we have SJ21 MZF, SF17 VNG on their side on the 26 to Seaton Sands. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it for now. I'm going to go and take a little break, and I'll be back very shortly with part 2. So it'll be known as Buses in Edinburgh Part 2, and it will also include the bus station.